Hey, I'm Dane Scott, the Gig Doctor, top-rated Fiverr seller with Furby.
Peekaboo, I see you.
And this time, doing the right things in the right order can really help you climb the ladder faster on Fiverr. That's next.
The Gig Doctor.
I launched my Fiverr account in September of 2018, and it got off to a pretty fast start. By the end of that year, I was already a level 2 seller, and then, I think it was in March of the following year, 7 months later, I got the word from Fiverr that they had already named me a top-rated seller.
I joined, and now I'm all the way up to private first class.
Between then and now, I've racked up over $500,000 in sales on Fiverr. So is it possible to climb quickly up the Fiverr ladder? Apparently. How did I do it? That's what I want to talk about here in the hopes that it's going to help you to climb faster too. Be sure to hit the heart and the bell, the like and the subscribe, so I can keep all these videos streaming your way. And while you're doing that, let me also mention that if you stick around until the end today, I'm going to give you a chance to get my $99 Mythbusters course. It's a voiceover Mythbusters course for nothing. Nada. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is the whole issue of value. That's what this one's about today. It's more than just how good are you at doing what you do. There are actually 5 elements of value that I'm going to talk about. Let's say 5 rungs, 5 steps up the ladder. I bought some fire starters for our wood stove the other day, which are basically just cedar shavings suspended in wax and formed into a hard wafer. You light the edge of one, set it under the wood, it burns hotly for a while, kindles the larger stuff, and then you've got your fire. The fire starters I purchased were higher priced than some of the other ones that I saw online. But I got them because in the reviews, I discovered that just one of those little discs is so effective that a lot of times people will actually break them into fourths and just use a quarter of one at a time to start their fires. So despite the higher price, these will actually be less expensive for me to use. In the end, my purchase is going to give me better quality and save me money, even though at first glance, it costs me more. So that's value. That's what value is about. Before someone ever buys a product or hires a service, the first thing they're going to consider is value. What are they getting for the price or the rate? If the quality seems to exceed the price, that goes a long way towards sealing the deal. Another way we can determine value is by looking at what others have to say. Ratings and reviews, reputation. When I see something listed on Amazon that's been purchased by 4,000 people and averages 4.5 stars, you know what? I'm feeling pretty confident that it's going to be something that not only have others seen value in, but that I'm going to value as well. Another item that enters into the value equation is the time factor. How quick am I going to get this thing? How long am I going to have to wait around for it? So time is a value too. If 2 providers offer the exact same product and price, and they have similar reviews, but one can deliver in 48 hours, and the other can't deliver any sooner than 5 days from now or 7 days from now, it's kind of a no-brainer that we're going to go with the one that delivers quicker if everything else is all equal. Altogether, let's say that value includes the product itself, what we charge for it, how soon we can deliver it, what others have had to say about it, and how well it's presented. What is its image? If you're in a grocery store shopping for some particular product and you see 2 brands of cheese side by side, and one looks like it was packaged by a kindergartner and the other one was packaged really professionally, it doesn't really matter how good that poorly packaged cheese is. It could easily be a vastly superior product. Maybe it is. But we're not going to make that mental jump because we can't get past that initial bad impression that we received from the cheesy packaging, if you'll pardon the pun. Now, on Fiverr, packaging is just as important as it is in the grocery store. Every aspect of our Fiverr gig needs to look really polished and professional, from the gig image to the demo to the presentation to the portfolio if you have one. If we skimp in the area of presentation, everything else falls apart. Why? Because without that initial attractiveness, people won't try what we offer. We won't get clicks. We won't get orders. We won't get reviews. And as a result, we also won't be able to build the reputation that leads to more exposure in search, and more clicks, and more orders, and more reviews. In particular, The gig image and the demo, I think, are very important rungs on the ladder. They really need to shine, so let's talk about those. Unless you're a professional graphic designer, don't try and make your own gig image. And don't assume that you're going to be able to get something good enough put together through an online resource like Canva. That's all boilerplate stuff. There's no real point in messing with things like that when there are people on Fiverr who will do really top-notch looking gig images with super typography, beautiful layouts, bold colors, unlimited revisions for $10. Spend the money. Okay, now the demo. And I'm going to say this first sentence a couple of times. Your Fiverr demo shows people what you're capable of doing for them, and it should represent the very best you can consistently do at your present skill level. It should be presented as professionally and as creatively as you can possibly imagine. So really study the demos of people who appear to be really successful, the ones that have had lots of orders, lots of reviews, in the category of service that you offer. And then don't just copy what they do. If anything, just use them as kind of springboards for your own ideas, your own more creative demo ideas. And if you need to spend some money to have a demo done and you have it to spend it. It's really worthwhile. Now, I did mention, and I'm going to repeat, that the demo should represent the very best you can consistently do at your present skill level. And by that, I mean the demo should not be a cobbled-together conglomeration of whatever you might happen to have at hand, which may or may not be the best you're capable of. Don't be quick and dirty and lazy about this. And importantly, whatever you present should not over-represent your current abilities. A couple examples. You wouldn't want to put up a graphic that it took you maybe 2 days to do as a representation of what you would be offering through Fiverr as kind of your bargain basement graphic design. That would be misrepresenting what you're likely to be delivering to them. Or if you're a voiceover person, you don't want to put something in your demo that maybe a tutor coached you through word by word, because when it comes down to it and they say, do it like cut number 3, and that was one you were tutored through, you may have a really hard time reproducing that style again for a client, especially if the client says, okay, and also the script is 500 words long. So now you have to try and do that style for 500 words, and you barely were able to squeeze out, 20 words of that in your demo. So be very careful not to over-represent yourself, but definitely do represent yourself to the best of your abilities based on what you can consistently, predictably, reproducibly do. Price is coming up next. First, let me just mention that I would love to hear from you in the comments today. So would Fervy, tell us in the comments how you're doing on Fiverr, where you are struggling, and where do you think that you would benefit from doing things differently or better. So put that in the comments today, please, and Fervy will thank you for that. Now, the price. The amount to charge for services on Fiverr is one of those things that people struggle with the most, because it feels like it's such guesswork, especially considering the rates on Fiverr are often less than what we're used to charging elsewhere. When I started on Fiverr, I was used to making a lot more money for my work. So, I'd been doing voiceovers for over 40 years. But I followed the formula I had learned about in a webinar, as humbling as that was, and I started my services out at $5 on Fiverr. For me, it was part of more of a long-term strategy that involved getting lots of initial sales, making lots of people really happy, and building things up from there. So yes, I did start at $5. That doesn't mean that everybody has to do that, but it is a pricing formula that can work. But let me mention that there's another approach to this, and that was something that I did right from the start in September 2018, which I think really helped me over the hump, or to use today's analogy, it helped me up the ladder faster, and it relates to pricing as well, but it's something that it would take a lot more time than I have right now to explain. So let me just mention Head Slapper 3. That's on my website. It's a video that covers this in detail, and if you do that, I think that you're going to find that it helps you to get on the radar and get more buyers on Fiverr. It relates to pricing. Again, it's Head Slapper 3 on my website, and I'll put a link there for you down below. Speaking of the website, now would be a great time to visit thegigdoctor.com and order a Gig Doctor session with me, because for a little while, When you schedule a session, I'm going to kick in with this $99 VoiceOver Mythbusters course at no charge, where I cover 15 topics, 15 areas where groupthink advice is misleading people into wasting a lot of time and money, chasing into unnecessary rabbit holes. You might be surprised at some of the alternative ways that you can do things that I cover in VoiceOver Mythbusters. So if you would like to schedule a Gig Doctor session and get together for a 1-hour meeting where we go all through your Fiverr gig and look for lots and lots of ways to turbocharge it for better results, you can go to thegigdoctor.com. I'll have a link again for that down below. And next time in the Climb the Ladder series, we're going to double back on the product again. We've talked about value and all of its 5 rungs. We're going to really focus in on product next time, because the product is as important as anything else and more important than some of the other elements. So product next time, and we'll also later in the series be covering keywords. I'll be revealing some things you may not be aware of. So please do stick with us through the entire series. I'm Dane Scott.
You give me a call.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, I think.
Hello, cutie pie.
Until I heard the voice, I'd never done a crazy thing in my whole life.
Goodbye.